There's double crosses everywhere. Everywhere. Not everybody, but they, for money. They look at the system, they said, this system doesn't care about us. This system sent my brother to war and ran him crazy. And here I am, an FBI agent, right? And he can see his brother, crazy as a Betsy bull, killing himself. The system now exists like that. Everybody got a gripe with, they done sent the people here, sent the people there. They done did all of this stuff. They haven't paid them for it. And then the people realize that they've been doing wrong. That's wrong. Killing all those people. So it's psychological. Psychoparalysis. That's just what it is. When the mind freezes up. We view this as psychoparalysis. Don is an exponent of it. Psychoparalysis. His mind freezes up all the time. And everybody else freezes up. And they all going through the syndrome of find out what they want and give it to them. So they want more women in Congress. They're getting it. It's not going to make the Congress better. They're everything. They must have 20 Democrats running for president. I don't know how it is. Just like. But Don can't win. I don't believe Don could win a dog catcher's job now. They're talking about the base. He screws the base all the time, every day. It's the boss man. We got what they call them soybeans that we were sending to China, and if we lose, we can't get it back hardly for years. And Brazil is sending the stuff over there, and I'm losing my farm. This is today, right now. All the white folks in Indiana, the carrier company, remember? Mm-hmm. We want you to stay here in America, and they said at first, oh, there's thousands of jobs still here. And they turned up and looked, and they was gone with all them jobs. Just gone. That's the base. They'll see him for what he is, a big fat liar. Psychoparalysis. Psychocomposting. Psychocomposting is very simple. It's this. Using the SHIT for our future fertilizer that the system produces. That's what psychocomposting is. We are and we have used psychocomposting for at least a decade. At least. We didn't just pop up with these names. We come up with a name and we came up with what goes with it. What are we going to do? Well, we want some natural stuff to come at us. Well, let's do some psychocomposting. We want to paralyze the system. We use some things that produces psychoparalysis. It works. You can paralyze people touching this place, that place. Martial arts, right? Or you can't paralyze nobody psychologically. They do it all the time. In theaters and movies, on talk shows. Sometimes a guy gets so confused by the other guy, his mind freezes. And if he's well trained, he might come out of it if he's lucky. But if he's not, he had the thing on his tongue, but he couldn't just remember. Psychoparalysis. Okay. Psychodegradable, you can imagine what that is. Biodegradable. Whenever they shoot at you, it's degradable. Psychodegradable. It breaks down, not plastic, stuff like that. It breaks down. It helps the mental and the spiritual ecology. Continuous Star Trek. Remember, we always talk about Star Trek. Go beyond where anybody else has gone. Let's see what we have here. We'll close with this. On one of our flyers, we'll have Jamil, Lukman, and myself, probably the one that we have on. So we're having a folder now for some of our distribution. When I go out to Darlington tonight, inshallah, I'll run down what's the name. We already got plenty of stuff in there, but we're gonna put more. Strategic retreat, strategic counteroffensive. Make the world a good place. That's all. We talked about Negro Speakers Benefits Bureau. Image building. We're working on our own images, community. As-Sabiqun means what? You know, it's so wonderful that no matter what happens, every time we look at the word As-Sabiqun and we see the dictionary meaning and the historical meaning, is really something. Okay, so we're going to drag the white man out into the 21st century, kicking and screaming. If you don't like it, too bad. We did Mr. Jefton. We thank you very much for being with us today on our subject of, remember, Islamic revival. Tajdeed. Mujaddid. Allah would raise at the head of every century, or every 100 years, someone who will revive, restore, renew, recondition, rejuvenate, regenerate our religion. We talked about a mujaddid before stood for a man, individual. Now we're asking Allah to allow it to be a group, that the Negro in America become the mujaddid of our time. We think that's what it calls for. So that means everybody that participates in this Islamic revival hopefully would be blessed. And it will help clear up a lot of the, not sins, but a lot of the backwardness that existed in the community. So remember, right now, that's our goal: Islamic revival, renewal, restoration, rejuvenation, to bring life back into the, it starts with the African American community, but it's not limited to. As we get to rolling, automatically it begins to affect the youth and the people that are born and raised here. We got a lot of work to do, and it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of it. So thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes, I had a question. Do you think the Muslim African American community want to be mujaddids? Do you think?
Okay. That's our job to help them. They don't know what the mujaddid is. Is this still on?
Yes, still on.
Okay, good. Do you remember over at Howard what Zaid and Sherman Jackson said?
Mm-hmm. That we've given up our where we were to the immigrants.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, he said we have transferred our whatever it was for the white man to the immigrant. The immigrant is the new white man.
Right.
You're inferior to us because your Arabic is not good. That's a bunch of jive. In our group, I'm going to ask, please, nobody, you can if you want, don't go overseas to learn nothing. We going to develop internally. If you want to learn Arabic, have some of the Negroes that went over there and learned, but that's all you take from them because they've been tainted. They've been tainted. I would say most of the people went over there for show, to come back and flow the Arabic. And they do. The hadith though says clearly anybody that goes after knowledge to be praised by people is in big trouble. But anyway.
And those are the same ones that when you talk to them, accuse us of being too black in our Islam, or that there's no nationalism in Islam. Those are the same brothers who
You know,
put
people,
forth that
that's
message.
true. People are not listening to us. They're not listening to what we say. All we talk about is Quran and Sunnah. We mention black 3 or 4 times, and that's what they
focus on.
One girl over at the little joint around the corner, Imam Musa, I went to your Masjid, and all you talked about was drugs and black people. I said at that time, I said, if you walk outside, what you gonna run into? Muslims or drugs and black people. See, the science is to revive the concept of salvation. What I mean is this: before we knew that Islam was a solution to family, drugs, alcohol, we knew it was a solution for all of that. Now all we got to do is try to show it the way it really is, and not the way because we have been practicing a whole lot of Islam ourselves. No, the Negro, oh, I'll marry this girl, I'll marry that, and I'll do this, and I'll do that. And if you, some other madhab, well, I'll just get a temporary marriage, get me a mutar. What the heck? Right? And you don't have no, look, this sounds like a light job, but it's a big job. We have to be the examples. We have to show the way. We have to show the Muslims the way, and then it's going to be wonderful getting back out in the street and inviting our people to Islam at programs, at benefits, at all of this. You see, that's what it's all about. But as far as nationalism is concerned, they talk more nationalism than we did. They have kente cloth, they have all of that. We ain't had no kente cloth flyers. Because, anyway, it's a lot of fraud going on. It's a big job. It's a good job just to try it. It's nice just to want to do it. Because you know, if you want to do something, you already get the blessings for doing it. If you do it, you might get 2 or 10 or 1,000 blessings for doing it. Right? But if you want to do it, you're already home free. As far as the hereafter and stuff is concerned. If you want to do this, we want to do it. It's going to take a lot of work. There will be people that's suspicious. But I believe it'll be enough that will look and realize, yeah, man, they ran a real cold game on us. Look at their house and look at ours. Man, they got big joints all over. We're still in these little cracker pop.
That's happening now.
Yeah. They're beginning to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when they've gone over there to study and they see what's happening over there. You hear certain brothers, you know, talking as if, oh, we need to focus on us. That's our
Yeah. Everything that, see, whatever it is out there, we have to do our part as we see it. We don't see any harm in asking Allah to make the mujaddid a group of people instead of an individual. Because that guy is not chiseled in stone. That's a hadith that says that every century Allah is going to raise a mujaddid. Well, it might be 1 or 2 of them centuries where it's a group of people, or organization and all, right? especially Allah knows our condition, we may not be at this time functional to be a solid single organization. And when they are, they'll start a manor, and after that don't work, they'll start another, whatever they call it, I don't know, to divert people. This is what the people do. So, in order to answer that question, they may not want to be, to even hear about mujaddis, but as part of sales and everything else, we gotta, not make them want it, but present it to them. That's all we want is opportunity. Are there any more questions? Any more questions?
No, nothing, no one's entered any questions over here.
Okay, so thank y'all very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.